Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Anime Talk. Okay, so yesterday I made my review and crack video for Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 1. In my review, I mentioned its brand new amazing opening at the beginning of that video, but that video was mainly a review for the episode, and that's why I didn't go into a lot of details about the opening. But this video is exclusively all for this beautiful new opening. I want to take this video and analyze every frame of Season 3's opening and point out things you might have missed. I also want to say this much, it really bothers me and just honestly makes my blood boil that so many fans hate this new opening. Their reasoning is because it's too different and not as alert and battle-like as the previous ones. What those fans are not understanding is the manga of Attack on Titan changes drastically starting with this arc, so a different tone of the opening was not only expected, but downright required. This backlash it's receiving has honestly reminded me of my older video I did talking about the problems with the delays of Attack on Titan and how it's affecting the fandom as a whole. I personally loved the change of the opening, and not just because I read the manga, but because I felt it needed the change. I loved the previous openings to death, especially Season 2's, but I have to admit, the same tone over and over again would get really old fast. If more fans actually read the manga, they'd understand exactly why this opening is like it is. There are so many little things hidden in it, foreshadowing not just Season 3, but Season 4, along with expressing clear changes that are being made. Let me also say this, since I'm noticing a lot of newcomers on my channel with Season 3's release. I shouldn't have to tell you I'm an Eremika shipper, given my channel name, so if you haven't figured that out yet, yikes. But I will say, Mikasa is my most favorite fictional character of all time. And it's for deep personal reasons that I'd rather make into its own video very soon. So please forgive me of my Mikasa bias in my videos, but don't worry, I'll be talking about much more than Mikasa. So, with no restraint on spoilers, let's start this. The very first thing you may have missed in Season 3's opening, mainly because not only does it cut away in between, but if you blink you actually miss it, is Eren and Mikasa holding hands. We see Eren slide down the roof and Mikasa takes his hand to prevent him from falling. This is now the second opening in a row where Eren and Mikasa hold hands. Coincidence? I think not. Considering Attack on Titan's producer revealed there's going to be a whole new arc for Eren and Mikasa in Season 3 that wasn't in the manga. This is an amazing and beautiful new moment for Eremika shippers. The second thing you might have missed, and this may seem to some fans like a small pointless detail, but not to us Mikasa fans. A Japanese fan on Twitter was the first to point it out, and how in this photo, Mikasa has a small belt around her waist. We have never seen her with this before. It's clearly a new thing for her character, and it's being used to keep her shirt from lifting up when she's running. All of us literally wondered on Twitter yesterday and invented a new headcanon that little Mikasa is self-conscious of her tummy. Guys, I am literally going to get diabetes from the cuteness of this headcanon. The next thing that happens is, in the opening that both me and my boyfriend personally love and found interesting, is Eren as a child bumping into his teenage version and trying to get his attention. We see little Eren tapping big Eren, talking in his face and cheerfully trying to get him to speak, before eventually calling over Mikasa and Armin and running off. We notice Eren's teenage form doesn't seem to notice or even acknowledge his younger self. And for those who read the manga, this is extremely symbolic. As Eren gets older in the manga, he becomes less and less like his childhood self, especially after he discovers the truth about what's really on the other side of the ocean and how the freedom he'd so desperately wanted for himself, his friends, and humanity has become practically impossible, even without the Titans. So, to see this moment between child Eren and a teenage Eren is honestly so interesting. It's showing how much further and further Eren is growing out of reach of the innocent kid he used to be, and he's changing as a person. The next thing you may have missed is Mikasa's shoe. I know, but newcomers, this literally isn't me being biased. The opening focuses on it. When we see Eren, Mikasa, and Armin running, we see Mikasa's shoe fall off and land behind her. Some people argue it didn't mean anything, but I disagree. This opening has been so symbolic that I feel every single frame has meaning to it. Now, before you make a Cinderella joke, here's what I think it means. One thing that really stands out about this shoe, yes, we're analyzing a shoe, people, just call me MatPat analyzing FNAF. The shoe is child-sized. I believe Mikasa leaving behind her shoe is foreshadowing of Mikasa leaving behind her childhood as well. but not quite in the same way as Eren. As the manga progresses, Mikasa grows and, just like Eren, loses pieces of her childhood innocence. She did lose a lot of it after seeing her parents murdered, but by spending all that time with Eren and Armin, just being kids and happy together, we can see it really did emotionally heal Mikasa more than we realized. Just look at how much she smiles. However, when the Titans got inside the wall, Mikasa was given a cruel reminder, and with losing another mother figure and another home, any emotional healing she had was mostly gone, a total relapse of her PTSD. And after joining the Scouts and having to see death around every corner, her childhood innocence only faded more, and eventually leading to how Mikasa currently is in the manga, a tired, broken soldier who just witnessed her childhood friend indirectly murder innocent children and the death of her longtime roommate and best friend. The next thing people are talking about on Twitter is the echo voice in the opening. At this part, when I first heard it, I swear to God, it sounded like Eren saying, "Mikasa, that's the truth, don't leave me." Listening to it again, I can now hear "that's the truth" is actually "what's the truth," which could be foreshadowing the basement. I still can't hear what the other two bits are, but I swear the first word is Mikasa. Either way, I do think "what's the truth" line is foreshadowing the basement and other things to come in the manga. The next thing you might have missed, only because it goes by so quick, is this picture of Grisha, Carla, and... I think baby Eren, but there's some confusion here. The baby we see Grisha and Carla holding appears to be a girl, completely in pink. Even the baby's hair appears lighter than Eren's, so what's up with that? Why would they make a baby appear as a girl if we know that they only had one son, Eren? We know it's not because there were no gender stereotypes in that world, because Mikasa wears pink when she's not in her uniform. Is it... Guys, this is a long shot, but it's the only thing I can come up with. Is it possible Eren has a long-lost sister? Or an older sister that died as a baby before Eren was ever in the picture? It would be one hell of a late revelation. And if so, what importance would she have? Could it also be part of the writer's way of debunking the incest nonsense between Eremika? This one is really tough, guys. I'd love to hear your theories on it, and I may make a shorter theory video all about it. The next thing you may have missed is Levi and Erwin as children. Okay, so this caught several fans off guard because anyone who's seen the No Regrets OVA know very well Levi and Erwin didn't meet until they were adults. So how come we see them glancing at each other as kids? Well, actually, it's not as crazy as people think. Just because they briefly glanced at each other in the opening doesn't mean the anime changed it and had them meet as children. It's more likely that as kids, they did see each other a few times, but never long enough to start up a conversation. It's entirely possible, and who knows, perhaps it's possible there will be a change, and they did meet as kids, but it was such a small meeting, it was never brought up in No Regrets. Now, the next thing about the opening is the clear symbolism of Eren, Armin, and Mikasa. This opening focused so much on this trio, it's basically their opening. We see them as children playing together, and honestly, one thing I love about this is that in just a few clips and photos, we see their friendship greatly develop. In Season 1 and Season 2, anytime we saw these three as kids, it wasn't really anything happy. It was mostly Eren and Mikasa arguing, Armin being bullied, and that was it. Just like Hannes put it.
Not exactly what I'd call a healthy relationship.
Seeing how much negativity there was in their childhood, it made it hard to believe for new fans as to why they're even friends at all. Season 3's opening finally, at long last, gives us the happy memories Eren, Mikasa, and Armin share. We can see in this opening just how tight they were as kids, and how much they loved each other. There were so many scenes of them smiling, playing, and just being normal children. It was so refreshing to see. And honestly, I highly predict we're going to get at least one flashback episode of their childhood and more happier memories of it. And that will be one of the changes, and here's why. I think it's obvious why not only we got an opening completely focused on the trio, but also why they're going to most likely get a flashback episode. And it's because of what's supposed to happen near the end of Season 3. Season 3 is supposed to cover volumes 13 to 22 of the manga, And we all know what happens in just a few volumes before 22. There is a gruesome, tough battle. Eren is thrown across the wall in Titan form, Mikasa is burned badly, and Armin is nearly killed. He nearly dies. But then he is turned into a Titan last minute. The one thing I remember the most vividly of that chapter is seeing Mikasa's gut-wrenching heartbreak at the thought of Armin dying. Hanji even having to hold Mikasa and comfort her right in the middle of battle. Knowing all of this, it makes complete sense as to why there's so much focusing on the trio in this new opening. The next part you could have missed is just how biblical the lyrics are to the opening's beautiful song, Red Swan. We hear lyrics like Fallen Angel and the most interesting at the end, Fly to Heaven. Why choose such obvious biblical lyrics? Well, we have to remember Attack on Titan is no stranger to biblical references, with the Titan's origins especially. One thing I find chilling and symbolic is how, when it plays the final lyric, Fly to Heaven, it shows Eren, Mikasa, and Armin as children. Now, I personally have such a dark and depressing theory for this one that I plan to make it its own shorter video, so look forward to that, guys. As a matter of fact, when I wrote its script, I am not kidding, I actually started crying, tearing up while writing it. It was intense. The next thing you may have missed is the rainbow credits. Every set of Japanese credits that appears on the screen have a gorgeous rainbow shading around them. But why would they choose something so specific? Well, the thing is, the lyrics of the song Red Swan are, again, extremely biblical. And in the Bible, the rainbow represents peace. And we see very peaceful moments throughout this entire opening. The final thing to talk about in Season 3's opening is the childhood symbolism. Not only do we see Eren, Mikasa, and Armin as children, but we see Levi, Historia, Bertolt, Reiner, and even Annie, all as kids. We already know we're getting flashbacks of Levi's and Historia's past in Season 3, so this must mean we could get a deeper, more interesting flashback of Annie, Bertolt, and Reiner than what Season 2 provided. And there you guys go. Those were all the things I could find that you may have missed in Attack on Titan Season 3's beautiful new opening, Red Swan. I know this is a longer video than my usual ones, but I really didn't want to miss a single detail. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Hey you, the viewer, if you ship Eremika and love Attack on Titan, why not subscribe to this channel? I make new anime talk videos every week and a new visual novel act twice a month. You can also follow my Twitter, fanfiction.net account, and if you want to donate $1 or $2 to my PayPal, it would be hugely appreciated and it helps me so much with making better videos. If you're under 18, please get parents' permission to donate.